Phil Taylor was earning £52 a week making ceramic toilet handles, struggling to keep his family afloat. Then Eric Bristow, the reigning darts king, bet £10,000 that this unknown factory worker could become a world champion. What made Bristow risk so much on a nobody, and how did Phil go from payday poverty to dominating the sport with 16 world titles, only to see his fairy tale end in sudden defeat? This is the true story behind the greatest underdog gamble in darts history. Phil Taylor's world began in a terraced house on the edge of Burslem, Stoke-on-Trent, where the clatter of kilns and the smell of clay were part of daily life. Born in 1960, he left school at 16 and joined the ranks at a local ceramics factory, earning just £52 a week, turning out toilet handles. That paycheck barely covered the £80 a month of mortgage on the house he and his wife Yvonne bought for £7,500. With 4 children to feed, every pound mattered. Most weeks, the family scraped by, counting coins for groceries and hoping the car would last another winter. The idea of luxury was foreign until the day Phil won £500 in a pub darts competition, and the family shower made their small home feel like a palace. Darts was just a hobby then, a way to wind down after a shift, but Yvonne saw something more. For his birthday, she surprised him with a new dartboard, setting it up in the corner of their cramped living room. That quiet gesture planted the first seed. At 25, Phil was still an unknown factory worker, his dreams boxed in by the same walls he had always known. But inside that house, with every throw, the possibility of something bigger began to flicker. Eric Bristow, already a 5-time world champion, watched Phil play county darts in Staffordshire and saw something most people missed. In 1986, Bristow made an offer that changed everything. He handed Phil £10,000, more money than Phil had ever seen, and told him to quit the factory for good. The deal was simple but tough. Give up ceramics, practice darts full-time, and follow Bristow's strict regime. The money covered travel, hotel rooms, and entry fees for tournaments that Phil could barely pronounce, let alone afford. There were no shortcuts. Bristow's training was relentless. If Phil lost, Bristow would not speak to him. If he underperformed, encouragement vanished. The message was clear: win or go home. The first year was brutal. In 1987, Phil crashed out early. Tournament after tournament, struggling to justify Bristow's faith and money. The pressure nearly broke him, but he kept grinding, putting in hour after hour, day after day, on the board. In 1988, the breakthrough came at the Canadian Open. Phil beat the reigning world champion Bob Anderson in the final, pocketing around £4,000, most of which he handed straight to Bristow to pay back the loan. Even then, the darts world barely noticed. By 1989, Phil scraped into his first world championship as a 125-1 outsider. The odds were long, but the lessons from Bristow's hard school had sunk in. The leap from factory floor to professional stage was complete, but the real test was still to come. January 1990, the BDO World Championship at Lakeside. Phil Taylor walked in as a 29-year-old debutant, unseeded, with bookmakers giving him odds of 125-1. Most people in the crowd had never heard his name. In the first round, he faced Russell Stewart and won 3 sets to 1, averaging 88.62. Next came Dennis Hickling. Taylor swept him aside, 3 sets to 0, averaging 86.67. With each match, the pressure grew, but so did his confidence. In the quarter-final, he took on Ronnie Sharp. Taylor's average climbed to 94.23 as he won 4 sets to 2. Then in the semi-final against Cliff Lazarenko, he delivered a whitewash, 5 sets to 0, averaging an astonishing 100.80. Suddenly, the outsider was in the final. Across the stage stood Eric Bristow, the 5-time world champion who had given Taylor his shot. Student versus mentor. The final was not close. Taylor outscored Bristow in every department, posting a 97.47 average to Bristow's 93.0. He took the title 6 sets to 1. The moment the winning dart landed, everything changed. The man who had once made ceramic toilet handles for £52 a week was now holding a cheque for £24,000, more than he had ever dreamed of earning in years at the factory. Taylor stood on that stage, trophy in hand, knowing he had just beaten the man who made it all possible. He called Eric a brother. He owed him everything. But now he was champion of the world. That night the world of darts had a new king, and the long road from Burslem to Lakeside was complete. The next year, Phil Taylor faced the kind of pressure that would break most players. In the 1992 World Championship final, he stood across from Mike Gregory, locked in a battle that pushed both men to their limits. The match went the distance, 11 sets, tied 5-all, with everything riding on a single sudden death leg. Gregory had 6 darts to win the title. Each one missed its mark. Taylor, steady in the chaos, landed double 16 to claim his second world crown. That moment was not just about skill, it was about nerve, about surviving when the world expects you to crack. But the real shake-up was just beginning. By 1993, Taylor and 15 other top players had grown tired of the old guard running darts. Prize money was shrinking, television deals were drying up, and the sport was losing its shine. So they broke away from the BDO, risking bans and lawsuits, and formed the World Darts Council, which would soon become the PDC. Taylor's name carried weight. As a 2-time world champion, his decision gave the new organisation instant credibility. The split was not just about money, it was about building a future where talent could thrive. Legal battles followed, but the rebels held firm. In the process, Taylor helped drag darts into a new era, one with bigger crowds, brighter lights, and real rewards for the best. Amid this revolution, a new identity took hold. In 1995, after a practice session gone wrong, a Sky Sports commentator saw Taylor snap a CD case in frustration and joked that he had the power. The nickname stuck. From then on, Phil Taylor was known as the Power, the driving force behind darts transformation, from smoky halls to global arenas. From 1995 to 2002, Phil Taylor did what no darts player had ever done. He won 8 consecutive World Championships. Each year the pressure grew, but so did his control over the game. In 1996, Dennis Priestley averaged 100 in the final and still lost to Taylor. 2 years later, Taylor swept Priestley 6-0, dropping only 2 legs while averaging nearly 104. By 2001, he delivered a 7-0 whitewash against John Part, hitting a 107 average. Those numbers left even the best opponents searching for answers. He reached 14 straight world finals from 1994 to 2007, a run that spanned more than a decade of dominance. He racked up 214 professional titles, 87 majors, and 11 televised 9 dart finishes. Prize money soared past £7 million. In just over a decade, the man who once earned £52 a week in a factory became the most decorated player in darts history, turning every final into a showcase of relentless precision. Phil Taylor's farewell was set for New Year's Day, 2018 at Alexandra Palace, a stage he had owned for decades. He was 57, and he had already announced this would be his last match. His opponent, Rob Cross, was a 27-year-old former electrician, playing his first World Championship final, nearly 3 decades younger, almost a mirror of Taylor's own rise. The crowd expected one last miracle, but what unfolded was something else entirely. Cross averaged 107.67, the 3rd highest ever in a world final, landing 11 maximums and finishing 60% of his checkouts. Taylor, still sharp, posted a 102 average and hit 12 maximums, but could not keep pace. He came within a whisker of a 9-dart finish, wiring double 12 for what could have been a perfect farewell. Instead, Cross swept him aside 7-2. The ovation shook the hall. Rob Cross handed Taylor the trophy so they could lift it together, a gesture that said everything. The ending was not scripted, but it was real, a champion's curtain call, and a question left hanging about when the greatest should finally walk away. Records can be counted, but legacy is measured by who dares to follow. As new players chase millions in prize money and dream of unseating giants, Phil Taylor's story proves greatness is not inherited. It is earned, one throw at a time. What would you risk to change your fate?